tonight's show. You can connect with Take Two Radio on Twitter at Take Two Radio and at Dawn Take Two Radio. You can also look us up on Facebook at Take Two Radio. Check out our website at TakeTwoRadio.com and follow us on Blog Talk so you can stay up to the minute of each episode as we add it. Each episode is always available for download immediately following each broadcast, and you can also download every podcast on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, and welcome to Take Two Radio, and I am co-host Dawn. Tonight, taking the reins from Miss Pam, who is not feeling so hot. She's really been fighting sickness this week, but she is with us. Pam, hello.
Hi. You really don't want to make me come on air, do you?
No, but I wanted to just at least say hello to you and listen. So you are here with us.
Scaring the
you're
people
not at the
off.
car. Oh, heavens no. People love you. But, you know, we're all, I wanted people to hear how sick you are so that they can all be sending you some good energy so you can hurry up and get well.
Thanks.
So I definitely, and I'm pulling for you a lot. So I would love for you to get well. But we want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We have a very, very special guest. We have psychic medium Lisa Kay with us, and you're in for a tremendous treat. Hello, Lisa, and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And I have to say, after having heard Pam, I'm going to send you lots of light and love and get well really soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, Lisa.
It's going around, and I'm sorry that that's got you down.
But
it's interesting. I find that a lot of you're welcome. A lot of people that have been sick also have been under a tremendous amount of stress. As well, not just due to being sick, but if you look at it as a time to release not just toxin from your body, but also it's a cleansing, it's getting rid of. And I bet you there's a lot of worry packed in that in that cold or.
It's
whatever.
so funny you say that because that's exactly what Dawn told me earlier.
Really? Dawn, are you a psychic?
Yeah.
I
Why don't you take over for me?
Maybe you can help me figure that out tonight because
I don't
think that
well,
I am,
you know what?
although go ahead.
The truth is, I'm sorry if I cut you off, that we are all intuitive beings. That's part of who we are. And we all have this, I call it my GPS system.
Yeah.
But each of us has one, and it's the voice of our spirit intuition. So many people are so shocked when they discover this that they are highly intuitive, when in fact this is part of who we are. So it's pretty exciting. It's just a question of acknowledging it and trusting it, learning to trust it, and build on it.
And I think you're correct. I think I'm tuned into it to a point. I don't think I'm, I'm not able to do a lot of the things, but I think intuitive is probably where it is for me at the moment. But you have to be open to that, and you can't be afraid of it. I think is
that's exactly right.
I think a lot of times people tend to want to dismiss it if something, kind of what they chalk up to irony or a coincidence, and I've always been a firm believer that there's no coincidences in life, that things happen as they're supposed to.
Exactly, and typically what we do is we explain it away, and we say, which is exactly what you just said. If, for example, we think of somebody and then they call us or, so many instances. If we're looking for something, we stop looking for it, and then the moment we stop, we find it in another room because we're allowing the guidance system. We're allowing, which works really off of flow, not noise, the noise of our left brain, our thinking mind. Think. That's not, the thinking gets us in trouble.
Yeah.
Ideally, to have both sides of your brain, your left brain and your right brain, working together, that's the ideal. That's the balance that we would all hopefully want to achieve. But what's happened is that we've allowed ourselves to put our intuitive minds, which is our right brain, on the shelf. Now, primitive man, we wouldn't be here if primitive man hadn't had intuition to guide him or her. I have to say that. That's politically correct.
Right.
Woman. Right? We've got to do that now. And so what we view as something that's extraordinary is really very much a part of who we are. But now we're sort of taking it off the shelf and saying, well, wait a minute, we have that, and we need to use it. So it's a little bit rusty.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think comes to mind when you were talking about that is oftentimes people will say, I knew that was going to happen, they always say it kind of after the fact, but it's almost like they have kind of an idea beforehand, but because they're unsure of the uncertainty of the unknown, that after it happens, it's like it's an affirmation for them. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. And but they're afraid to say it ahead of time because they don't know. They can't see the future. But after it, it's like that's an affirmation. And I do think that's part of it too. And people often dismiss it as being something that it's.
Yes, I'm sorry. Something what?
I was just saying that sometimes people often dismiss it, as being something that, they don't think it's very significant. They just think, lucky guess kind of thing. And I don't believe that's it at all.
No, but, that's exactly right, exactly right. The thing is, Dawn, is that the more we use it, the less which is what back to my point about it's a little rusty and trusting it with, the more we use it, the more we'll be able to trust it. And additionally, what's important to remember is that we focus on, rather than focusing on the times that we don't listen, like, for example, if we say, I knew that, and then we beat ourselves up for not listening to our intuition, we should write it down, journal it, and become more aware of how often it occurs in our lives, as opposed to having the experience, looking at it, and then beating ourselves up. Because when we do that, it does the antithesis of, it does the opposite in terms of reinforcing and trust, reinforcing the trust. With anything really. But if, for example, I did it. We all do it because we're here to learn. And so this is something, when I'm doing it for someone else, it is obviously much more effective. For ourselves, we can't always get the distance because there's the emotional component. And when we have our emotions, that takes us right to our left brain. And, should I have done this? Should I have done that? And then we get the noise. And so for intuition to work effectively, we need to still our minds, to quiet our minds, to get time during the day, to set aside time during the day to quiet our minds. And what I mean by that is it can be anything from, by the way, doing the dishes. It can be doing the laundry. Can be taking a walk, doing breath work, anything that stills your mind, because that is what activates the flow of intuition. It doesn't work. Intuition does not work off of logic. I can't think my way to an intuitive hit. I can't do that. I can't think my way into that space. The space wherein intuition flows requires that we have the stillness within us, if that makes sense. And then psychic ability springs forth from intuition. But that's a whole nother. But it's amazing how many people tell me, they're not psychic. And then in the next breath, they tell me something about myself that they could not even have known. But we do. We give each other messages all the time.
Yeah, and we don't even realize it. If you're not tapped into it, you can't possibly know that you do that. But it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday occurrence even, and it really depends. It really depends on if you're tuned in or not, and you're tapped into it, and and how far you go with it determines. But I like to compare it to the fact that we all have a soul, and when we die, our soul goes away. That's what leaves and passes on, and so the soul is everlasting. It's always living, and so the soul is, I think, where intuition is born, and that's just my personal belief. But
yes,
I
Dawn.
could be.
I'm sorry?
I was saying I could be way off base as well, but that's just,
no.
You know.
I would just add to that. I just would add something, and that is to say that we're all, and I'm sure people. Well, I'm not sure, but I would imagine people listening understand this as well. Just to add to what you're saying is that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. It's not the other way. We're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. Did I say that right? Yes.
Yes.
We are spiritual beings. We are souls inhabiting a body. And so
that's right.
We're borrowing. Everything is, it's like, when I think of, I always tell people, we're here on a visa. Everybody's here on a visa.
Yeah.
It's a grand vacation. Yeah. Enjoy it. Don't beat yourself up. We're here to learn, grow our souls, love, and to learn this. Now, what's interesting is the reason why so many people get so frustrated, because they will get intuitive hits and then something else, they'll get back to their left brain. Well, that's part of the journey. That's part of what we are doing here. We're supposed to be learning. Now, why not be kind to ourselves during that process, as opposed to beating ourselves up? And it just makes it a whole lot more pleasant.
And surrounding yourself in positive energy.
Absolutely. If you don't support. When I first started, which is interesting, I really thought this was amazing. I didn't think I was amazing at all. I just thought what was going on within me was so unbelievable. It's somewhat. So it's about wonder. It's about not doubt. Wonder and doubt, they're very, very different. Wonder is, wow, it's what the visionaries did. Mm-hmm. It's what Ben Franklin did. It's what, not that I know him personally, the way I said that was, I'll call my friend Ben. I'll get him on right now. Hold on. We'll do a three-way. I'll get Ben. I'll get, let's see, who else? I'll get Galileo on the phone, and perhaps Con Edison. I mean, well, whatever. Anyway, Thomas Jefferson. I'll call him too, because he believed as well. So, and the point is that they looked into nature and they said, oh, this is incredible. How is this going to work? They didn't say, how is this ever going to work? They just said, oh, this failed. I wonder why. Not, oh, this failed and therefore the next thing will too. So this is a place to be that really helps the process along, and it helps you to build the trust that you need, which is actually, it's essential to the process. So that's what happened to me. I just said, this is great. This is great. And I said, this is great, even when I was wrong. And then I kept a journal, which is very important as well. And it just took it just sort of was like a little locomotive. I just started it, and it took on a life of its own. And the more and by the way, appreciation and gratitude is essential as well to the process. Having the intention to help people with your ability is important.
Right.
And it's like baking a cake, and the ingredients are very basic, but it's just a matter of doing it and trusting it and allowing.
Did somebody tell you that you had the gift, or did you feel it yourself early in life?
That's a wonderful question. By the way, your voice sounds much better.
I just drank some tea.
And better than mine. Mine is starting to go down. Maybe I'm absorbing it.
Don't make me laugh because I'm going to start coughing.
Oh, no. Okay. Well,
there we go.
This was something that came to me later in life, and there's nobody in